Welcome to DX Engineering here in Tallmadge, Ohio. We're on Facebook Live on the DX Engineering channel, and we're excited to have today two very special guests from the Dayton Hamvention. We have the General Chairman of the Dayton Hamvention, Ron, KD8ENJ, and also the official spokesperson for the Dayton Hamvention, and this is Michael, W8CI. Welcome to both of you here to DX Engineering in Tallmadge.
Hey,
I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely glad to be here. And hello to anybody out there watching.
This is a very special edition of our Facebook Live today. We're going to announce, Michael and Ron will announce the 2018 Dayton Hamvention award winners. And so there are 4 special awards, and they're going to talk about them. Michael, this has to be a tremendous undertaking for your team at the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, and Ron, to figure out from all the qualified candidates, just these award winners. It's just an immense amount of work, and I'll bet you're thrilled about the folks that you had that actually sent in resumes and nominated.
Yeah, we do. We certainly do appreciate all the nominations that we get for these awards, and it becomes a difficult task sometimes, or actually every year, to choose these people. And we have a small team of amateurs in our club who've been doing this for a while, and I'm one of the chairs of this particular committee, and we are just always amazed to see what some of the amateur radio operators do and how they participate back, how they give back, and the clubs as well. So it's often a long, drawn-out affair to kind of ferret out who's the best.
So, Ron, what are the awards for 2018? What are the categories of the awards?
Well, there is a Special Achievement Award, the Club of the Year Award, the Technical Award, and
Amateur of the Year.
Amateur of the Year, the top one.
So those 4 awards are highly coveted and also inspirational, I would think. I mean, absolutely inspirational.
Absolutely, they are. I mean, it's always exciting at the banquet giving people these awards, and then on the prize day on Sunday we bring everybody's introduced to the general public who shows up at Hamvention, and it's something that an amateur radio operator of the club can carry on whole life. It's a beautiful award, beautiful amount of awards, I think.
And it's a fabulous way that the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, the host of Hamvention, gives back. This is the recognition of these awards shows a real commitment to the hobby, and so, Michael, with that, let's move into the first award winner for 2018, and this would be the Special Achievement Award.
Right, and this is given to this year. There are 3 amateur radio operators who will share this award, and that is Herb Perez, KK4DCX. Victor Torres, WP4SD, and Emilio Ortez Jr., WP4KEY. And these 3 gentlemen did so much during the Hurricane Maria back in September to try to bring relief and health and welfare information, and they set up a station quickly on their own, and they took care of the radios for a long period of time. It was actually, they made more than 4,000 messages to loved ones, and just to try to get information out or get help or whatever was needed. So we are really excited to be able to give this award. And I was trying to think back if anybody from Puerto Rico has ever won one of our awards before. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look that up, but we are pleased to have them as award winners this year in the Special Achievement.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of the 4 awards, and certainly is very timely with all of the communications that went on during the disasters that took place in Florida and Texas, but especially Puerto Rico, where there's still major parts of the island that are without power. So having amateur radio when all else fails, and that becomes a special achievement award. How special that is.
It is, and the way they talked to me about it on the phone, they were all extremely moved to be able to help. They never thought in their career as amateur radio operators they would be able to give back in the way that they did during this hurricane. And they've been touched by so many people, and they've touched so many people's lives. They say when they walk down the street, people give them hugs and thank you. And they'll say, "Don't you remember?" And I know that they've told me they don't remember everybody they help, but the people they help, remember them.
Well, that's great. And speaking of great things, the amateur radio hobby not only is about communications, but it's about technical excellence and pushing the envelope and setting the bar and raising the bar. And so if we move into the next award, which is the Technical Achievement Award, Michael.
Right, and I know most of you probably heard this name before, Dr. Chip Cohen, W1YW. He's been an amateur radio operator for 52 years, and he's been a professional radio astronomer, astrophysicist, and he's even used Arecibo to do some research. And he's been a professor at Boston University, and he's connected fractal geometry with antennas. He's pioneered actually a paradigm shift on how antennas are designed, what they make possible, and has seen fractal antennas enable millions, save lives, and make life easier. So Chip has been a real force in amateur radio, I think, for many, many years. And he's quite the thinker. He supports amateur radio in a lot of different ways, not only by his inventions and by putting on great programs. I saw a program he put on at the Radio Club of America meeting that was held in, I think it was November. And it was voted the best presentation there. It was absolutely breathtaking. It was very, very exciting to watch his presentation, with the demos and to understand what he's doing with antenna technology. So he is a real cheerleader for the innovation culture, I think is what he calls it. So super glad that Chip has won this. He really came out very high, the highest in our ratings, but he did really well in all the things that we look for in technical achievement. So we like to wish him congratulations, and hope that you all join us in wishing him much deserved congratulations.
Chip has spent his life in antenna research, both in amateur radio and professionally, and his most recent patent in the area of cloaking technology, it took him 5 years, Michael, to get that patent through, and certainly we celebrate his success and hope that it inspires others to continue to push the bar higher.
Yeah, and I think he will. He's ready to pass the baton on. Well, maybe not quite ready yet, but he likes to push the innovation and wants to see others do that as well in the culture of innovation. I like that myself. So congratulations to him.
And speaking of pushing the envelope, the real strength of amateur radio is in local clubs. Clubs are the glue. Clubs are the entry point for many new amateur radio operators. They're the support mechanism for local activities such as parade communications and emergency responding tests. And during times of emergency, clubs are called upon to be put into service, again, for communications and filling in the need wherever possible. Across the United States, there are some 3,000 clubs, and if you look worldwide, there's probably double that when it comes down. And every club is just as passionate as every other club. So the award that the Hamvention gives every year to the Club of the Year, how special that is to be chosen amongst thousands of clubs that support amateur radio. And that's got to be a very hard job to figure out which club is really Club of the Year.
You're right about that. We have a sort of a matrix that we use looking for a well-rounded club, a club that approaches a lot of different aspects of amateur radio, not just focusing on one thing, but they work with youth, they work, maybe kit building, they work with getting people on the air, they do a lot of fellowship, and this particular club has done all that plus more. And this club is the Portage County Amateur Radio Service. They call them PCARS. And actually, this club hasn't been around all that long. November of 2005. But I look at their news publication. They gave me some to look at that they put out monthly. I mean, it's just not a bulletin of 6 or 10 pages. It's 20 pages, I think, or something like that, or more. No ads in it. It's just really great information, and it is so welcoming. If I was a new ham in this area to receive that, I would know exactly, what was going on, and the club members know what's going on, because one of the biggest problems that we have in organizations is lack of good, solid communication. Oh, I didn't know about that. It wasn't in our bulletin. If it isn't in their bulletin, then they didn't have room to print it. I mean, it's a beautiful piece that they present. Now let me mention this too. A couple more things about this club. They are, of course, they're ARRL affiliated, and they average about 43 hours of club activities per month. And they have special interest groups in that, license training, contests run from their club site, and club social events. And the members cover a wide range of interests that allow them to support public safety organizations, student outreach programs, which is big for us too, and activities focused on growing the hobby. These are all very important things that we look at for a club, and they do. I mean, there's so many things. They do kit building days and each year, and they have Get on the Air Day every month. That they do that. So that's great. Somebody gets their license, get them on the air. Those are the kinds of things that clubs can do. But, well, you're right, Tim. Clubs are the backbone of amateur radio, I think, in the world.
They are.
Absolutely.
It's such an important part. And the great thing, I think, about the Portage County Amateur Radio Service, and you can look at their website. It's a phenomenal website. Is that they give back, and if other clubs need help or ask questions, they certainly will do their part to support them. And these days of Elmering, Michael, are so important. And when you have a club that's got more than 200 members and they're all excited about new people coming in with lots of questions and helping Elmer them and get them up to speed.
But it's funny you say that. In our club, I still need Elmering, and I'll freely admit it.
We're here to help. Ron will help you.
But there are aspects of amateur radio that I like to go to in our club and to try to learn more about from somebody who knows much more about it than I do. So you go through different Elmers, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Just the Elmer to actually get somebody on the air to start, but I kind of look at amateur radio as brand new every day. It's like, well, I didn't know about this. I got to find out about it.
You can't do it all, but boy, we're trying to. Yep. In these days of the evolving technologies, like with FT8 and MSK 144, I mean, it's changing all the time. And the great thing is they've got some super people at PCARS that keep track of this stuff and are really leaders and good mentors for going on in the hobby. So what a joy it is to have a club like PCARS become the club of the year.
Well, a club like that wouldn't even have a newsletter with that much information if they weren't vibrant and they weren't active, and they didn't have a lot of people involved, because it wouldn't exist. So that with that, people get excited, I imagine. All the excitement in this area about amateur radio, that's got to be there with a club like that. So congratulations to the Portage Amateur Radio Club.
So, speaking of excitement, the fourth award is the Amateur of the Year, the Hamvention Amateur of the Year, and this is an award like none other. This is an award where you have to really give back to the hobby And I don't think it's over a year. It's sort of over your amateur radio lifetime.
Right. And you're exactly right. Because you did well in this contest or that contest, that's all good. Where you have one special event that you've done well, and we have an area that covers that. But for somebody who gives back completely and totally all the time in a great big fashion, that's an amateur. That's how you win the Amateur of the Year award. And that's a tough one for us to look at. We really have to do a fair amount of research on that. So our winner this year, you got any more comments before I announce our winner?
I wondered, Ron, how hard was it to vet the Amateur of the Year?
Well, I was honored to be asked to help with the vetting and being on the committee. Michael is co-chair along with Frank Biafor, and it was a tough job. There were many times that we just, we've got this and this and this. Everybody, all the nominations that were made, there were no bad people in there. There was no one you said, throw that one aside.
Right.
Everyone deserved an award, and it was very hard to come up with the winners. And I think we did. I know we did. We put a lot of time and effort into it.
Well, that's great. And so, Michael, without further ado, the Amateur of the Year.
Actually, this was the hardest. It took us a long time to come to a conclusion on this one, because it was just such a tight competition that we actually had to end the meeting and say, okay, we're going to come back on this and we're going to take a look. But we all came together, and everybody's really excited about our 2018 Amateur of the Year, and that is Valerie Hotzfeld, NV9L. Congratulations to Valerie. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She has only been licensed since 2006, but she's been very active in her local amateur radio clubs and areas, and then she discovered DX, and she got obsessed with that. And she invites new hams to her station to DX and contests. She's a co-host on Ham Nation, and has created many how-to videos on YouTube for the ham radio community. She also enjoys delivering various presentations on Skype to amateur radio clubs across the U.S. She's been a pilot or lead pilot for 4 major DX expeditions. She is currently the treasurer for her contest club, I Like Treasures, and the prize chairman for W9 DXCC and SMC Fest. In 2017, she became very active in public service, going to Texas after Hurricane Harvey to help rescue small animals, as well as being deployed to Puerto Rico with the American Red Cross for 3 weeks as part of the Force of 50, providing critical amateur radio communications after Hurricane Maria. She says that amateur radio has enriched her life because of the challenges and great friends this hobby brings. And I just want to say that I don't really think that this particular bio encompasses just how spectacular Valerie is as an amateur radio operator. And I think you know her, don't you?
I do. She has also been a professor at Contest University in Dayton, where she has delivered content and spread the wealth, to others. She has come up to speed very fast in this hobby. And very early on, Michael, was clear that she understood that giving back was absolutely a first priority for her, and she has continued to do that. And knowing Valerie, the way her club accepts her and the things that she is involved in, especially with Ham Nation, you see that she likes giving back. It's intrinsic to her, and I expect even greater things from Valerie going forward, as many amateurs of the year have stepped up their game.
That's right.
After their award. So this is an exciting time that amateur radio should be very proud and celebrate all of these award winners, especially the Ham of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we found out after we had chosen her, we didn't know this, but she's been chosen to be a keynote speaker, and at the ARRL, they have a donor dinner that they have every year, and she's the keynote speaker. So, wow, that was a good choice. Somebody else thought she was pretty good too. So, do you think we got a minute or two? I want Ron to say a few words about.
Sure do. You know, Ron, as general chairman, he hasn't been sleeping since the last Hamvention, and certainly you're down to less than 90 days till Hamvention.
We are at 73 days.
73. Oh, what a number! 73 days. So why don't you give us some thoughts that you have, Ron, that are on your mind concerning Hamvention 2018?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank the award committee for all the work that they have done, the very hard work that they have done in coming up with these names for you today. It's been a tremendous job. Like I said, I was honored to be a part of that committee. I didn't realize how much effort they go through to come up with these award winners. Other things, if you haven't booked your room in Dayton yet, you better do that quickly. Our ticket sales are up 146% over last year at the end of February. So be thinking quickly. Other things that are going on, I don't know whether I want to add a whole lot more. I think this was a very important thing to do, and there'll be other days.
There'll be other days.
Right.
And certainly you can get up-to-date information on the hamvention.org website. It's constantly updated. There's also a Yahoo group. Just search for Hamvention and join that Yahoo group, because there's a lot of great discussion on what's going on a timely basis with Hamvention. And the amount of traffic on that particular Yahoo group gets intense as we get closer, but it's all good discussion. And we certainly are very appreciative that both of you came here today to make these announcements. This is our second year of doing that.
Right.
So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ron. And to all of you who are watching out there or may watch the recording, we appreciate your interest in Hamvention and DX Engineering. We hope you found this enjoyable, and we look forward to having you guys come back again and give us more updates here at DX Engineering. So,
always something happening.
Always something happens.
Always.
And make sure you make plans to join us in May at Hamvention 2018. So 73 from DX Engineering in Tallmadge, Ohio.